Welcome everyone for this video lecture. I am John Milton, working as an assistant professor in the Department of Microbiology, St.Joseph College of Arts and Science, Autonomous Cuddalore. In this video lecture, we will discuss about various kind of interactions among microorganisms. When microbes interact among themselves, the results may be beneficial or may be harmful. The beneficial relationships are symbiosis, commensalism, syntropism, cometabolism, and protocooperation. Regarding harmful relationship, commensalism, competition, parasitism, and predation are its subtypes. First, we will discuss about the beneficial relationship. The symbiosis. So it is a type it found between two different kind of organisms. Here both are benefited. The relationship is obligatory, that is important. The important example for the symbiosis are Rhizobium legume symbiosis, Azolla anabina symbiosis, lichens. So these are the examples for the symbiosis. Here both are benefited. For example, Rhizobium gives or supply nitrogen to the growth of plants, and in turn the legume plants will supply the nutrients to the growth of Rhizobium. Likewise, the Azolla gives a site for the encouragement of the anabina. In turn, the anabina fix nitrogen and supply the nitrogen to the growth of Azolla. Likewise, lichens also. The next type is commensalism. Here, the activities of one kind of organisms help other. It is an indirect relationship between two kind of organisms. One is benefited and another is not affected or not benefited. Here, the action of one group of organisms make the other group to have a better survival. For example, lignin degrading organisms help the non-lignin degrading organisms. Usually the lignin or the components they cannot be degraded by all kind of organisms. So those organisms capable of degrading the lignins convert the lignin into simple compounds, and these simple compounds can be utilized by the other non-lignin degrading organisms as a sources of carbon and energy, and the creation of the anaerobic conditions by the aerobic organism. So here the aerobic organisms utilizing all the oxygen and that produce anaerobic conditions that favor the growth of anaerobic organisms. So here one kind of organisms help the other by producing a components or producing an environments which favor the growth of them. The third one is syntropism. Here the two populations coexist as their metabolic activities help their survival. For example, Streptococcus faecalis produce arginine from minimal media, then E. coli converts this arginine into ornithine for its utilization. Upon utilizing the ornithine, the E. coli produce putrescine as a secondary compounds, and these putrescines will be utilized by the Streptococcus faecalis. So this is the relationship. So one kind of product which is produced by the organisms will be used by the other. When using this components, it also produce secondary components. These will be utilized by the first one. So this is one kind of relationship. Next one is cometabolism. Here a particular microbes convert a substrate to derive its nutrients. While converting these components, it also produces a second compound which is not required for the first one. At the same time, the metabolites of the second substrate may be required for the another one. For example, propane is the compounds which is utilized by the mycobacterium, which is required for the Mycobacterium vaccae. When utilizing the propane, upon utilizing the propane, that will be converted into cyclohexane. Further, it will be converted into cyclohexanone. So these cyclohexanone is not required for the Mycobacterium vaccae, but it is the components which is required for the Pseudomonas. So here the product of utilization of one compounds by one organisms will be utilized by the other. The next one is protocooperations. It is like symbiosis. Here, both organisms getting benefits. It is the mutual association between two kind of organisms. It is similar to symbiosis, but some differences exist between symbiosis and protocooperations. Here, a metabolic product of one organism is used by another, which simultaneously produces a metabolites which will be used by the first one organisms. It is not obligatory, can also grow independently. Both organisms can also independently grow whenever they will form the association, mutualistic association, when the compound is required. For example, the best example for the protocooperation is the relationship between Bacillus polymixa and Proteus vulgaris. Here the Bacillus polymixa can able to produce biotin, but it need a niacin. But the Proteus vulgaris produce niacin, but it need biotin. So the biotin produced by the Bacillus polymixa will be supplied to the Proteus vulgaris. The niacin which is produced by the Proteus vulgaris will be supplied to the Bacillus polymixa. Here both are benefited. The compounds which is produced by one organisms will be supplied to the other. The another organisms produce one compound that will be supplied to the first one. So here both are benefited. The association only occurs when the compounds are needed, but the rest of the time they will grow independently without the help of other. So this is called as protocooperations. Next we will see about the harmful association. The first one is amensalism. So it is a relationship between two kind of organisms. Here the product of one organism will harms the other. The best example is antibiosis. So in this antagonistic relationship, the metabolic product of one organism cause deleterious effect to the another. Here one is harmed while the other is not harmed. The best example is the antibiosis. Antibiotic compounds produced by many kind of organisms, including actinomyces, streptomyces, penicillium species. They can produce antibiotic that kill other bacteria or closely related bacteria, fungi. So likewise, the organic acids produced by lactobacillus also able to control other kind of organism. That is the main principle for the food preservation in many product. Here the product of one organisms, that is the lactic acid produced by the lactobacillus, as well as the antibiotic produced by the streptomyces and other organisms will kill the other, will cause harmful effect to the others. It is not required to them. The second one is parasitism. Here the parasite population getting benefits from the host. Here the host are harmed, the host are affected. The individual benefits by harming another in this relationship. The parasite is smaller in size than the host. Here the affected organisms will be larger and the benefiters will be very smaller. The best example is almost all the viruses. All the viruses are parasitic in nature, so they can get their food and other all their needs from the host by affecting the host. Here the host are affected and the viruses are getting benefits. And the next type is predation. The predation is the relationship between two kind of organisms. Here the mainly they are the purpose of predation is mainly for getting food. The best example is protozoa engulfing the bacteria and the other smaller organisms. Here the predators will be larger in size, whereas the affected organisms will be smaller in size. So usually these occur for getting nutrients. Almost all the bacteria, all the protozoa can engulf the bacteria which are found in the soils. So the population of ciliate protozoa, flagellate protozoa, amoeba protozoa, they can engulf the bacteria. The protozoan population engulf bacteria are called as phagotropic protozoa, and the process is called as grazing. The phagotropic protozoa also consume algae, fungi, viruses, and other protozoa. The predatory relationship provides food sources for the predatory populations. The next one is competition. In competition, the organisms compete the same resources which is found as a limited sources. The essential compound may be an energy sources or carbon sources or mineral or growth factor The competition has a negative effect on both populations, but at the end only one population is uh, established there. The chemoorganotropes compete for organic carbon substrate as sources of carbon and energy. The competition may also occur for light, space, oxygen, moisture in addition to the nutrients. So under constant environmental conditions, competitions will result in establishment of a dominant populations and exclusion of the populations of unsuccessful competitions. So at the end, only one kind of organisms established their growth, and other organisms will be eradicated from that place. So this will be the result of the competitions. So this is regarding a different kind of in results of interaction among the microorganisms. Thank you for watching this video.